I don't want to harp on this because, like, I feel like we should mention it and then let it go. But wow, the amount of cheating in that team's contender.
I still haven't gone back and looked.
Like, I don't want to be a bully, but there is some level of like, wow, you screwed a lot of us over. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, I mean, I get it. I think people had similar sentiments on the Facebook page. Like, there were some comments on the video that were like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it seemed like in that match in particular,
Yeah.
it was worse than normal.
If anything, it just makes Posse Galore's win all the more impressive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nutty, right?
So what do we want to harp on it, or do we want to move on?
Let's harp on it a little bit, but like, I'll let you know if we get to, you know.
Well, so I edited it, but
I was hosting it. We didn't notice.
oh yeah, it was you and Anna, wasn't it?
Yeah, this can turn into a conversation about complacency.
But I don't even know, because I want to be careful because we have information that isn't out in the world. Had he not admitted to what he was doing to Cody, which is very public, Cody has said it on call that he got on a call with him and he admitted it all. Had that not happened, so thank you, Cody, for performing a sting operation. I think that's the greatest thing. I think that's awesome. Had that not happened, I don't think anything of people looking off to the edge.
Not at all. No,
like,
no. I still won't.
Yeah, and so like I don't know that like it's a complacency issue, because how are we supposed to know?
Because here's the deal: if we paid super close attention, we would have noticed like eyes scanning, and like we would have noticed, obviously, because people noticed. But Anna claims she knew before, and she's like, "I thought I told you," and I was like, "No, you did not."
In that match specifically,
I don't. No. She can't remember, which is why I don't think she did. But
I did.
But no, because it kind of is, because that's the kind of, when people in the past, there have been people in the past who we thought like had a second person in the room who were writing answers, and the way they were looking off was kind of fishy and stuff like that. But I used to do it when I play. If you watch my old matches, I literally like write it down, or before I write it down, I go like this. And I swear to you, I am staring at the movie in my head. And my notes, yes. Like I'm replaying the movie like in front of me. And that's just what people do sometimes. So it's a bit of both. It's a bit of like someone we trusted, so we don't need to look too deep into it. And it's a thing that people do all the time that I will not try. And like I would like to be on the record of like, yes, it sucks because we had to rewrite our schedule and we wasted a lot of questions on matches that don't count for records now. They count for stats, which is why we've still released them. But I'd still rather trust the player playing to a degree and find all this out later than be like nitpicking every single person who plays. Because like transparency, we just shot like 2 debut singles matches with people who have never done anything in this before. Like literally we asked them to join, or someone in some, like Jack's friend just played, and Jack's friend has never played in this before.
Sky, I was like, Jack's friend?
Yeah,
okay.
And it would be wild if we started off by being like, great, show us your room, show us everything. Hey, don't look at the ceiling, look back. Like, I wouldn't want to come back to that if I was a new person.
That's fair.
So all that is to say, like, I'm not mad at us for not catching it. It sucks that it happened and we were at the point that we were. But I also like would rather trust and then be hurt than not trust and hurt everyone else. And
yeah, no, I think
and
I
that's not
agree
to
with
say we
that.
won't call out fishy shit. Like everyone who plays, we tell them to keep their hands on screen, and I tell them like, keep your hands on screen. I know you're not cheating, or I don't think you're cheating, but other people do, and so we
Yeah.
need to make sure everyone watching knows that you're not.
Is it shit?
So that I was listening to that video and Anna was in bed, and they play that sound like of the 20 voices saying is it like 30 times in a 10-minute span. Every time Anna looked up and was like, what the hell is going on?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched the clips of people supposedly cheating.
Do you want to talk about those clips?
We can talk about those.
We do a quick recap of those clips. Start with the most obvious, which is Draco from the showdown.
Oh, that was cheating.
Oh God, that was the most cheating thing ever. And I remember when Nazario first made a video to that, he was like reacting to it live, and he did this the most epic thing where he like found like he was like, all right, I'm gonna do this in real time. Pauses the video, goes and looks up. He's like, oh, John Kreese. All right, well, let's check IMDb. Oh, there's the last name and the actor, but I don't have the first name. Crazy.
So, and Draco was just on IMDb.
Yeah.
Waiting to search stuff.
And like, dude, everyone watching him was just like, can you?
I don't like saying the name, but I'll say it. Harloff looked like he knew in that moment.
They both, Ellis, they both looked like they knew what he was doing, but didn't want to call him out in the midst of it. And it's weird because in a way, I get it. If you've never had to deal with that, which they hadn't at that point because they were all in person.
Yeah.
It's awkward to be like, hey, you're cheating. Stop.
Yeah.
You still should, especially if you care about the people watching who care about the integrity of the game.
Like Payson and Payson. Like they did with I think I guess they.
But think about like the early days of multiplexes when Nazario has most of these cheating videos because people were afraid to just be like, hey, are you cheating? Like, please, you know what I mean? So in a way, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, wow, what a piece of crap.
Genuine question. Let's say there were, and I know you could go and look. I'm not asking you to go and look, but let's say there were 30 people who played in Fandom 1 or Fandom Season 1 at the original days of Multiplex. How many of those people do you think cheated?
Fandom Season 1. Well,
like early days Fandom Multiplex, like, do you think everyone was cheating?
I know of at least 4 for sure.
Wow.
So do you.
Oh.
I don't want to say it because I'm going to have to bleep myself again.
Yeah.
I'll just say they are currently active in things. Not our things, but regardless. Yes, and I think it's because at that time it was a pathway to the Schmodown. Because Paul, awkward, but Paul had gotten there that way. I think Chance had gotten there that way.
Through Multiplex
got there that way.
Stuff you're saying.
So yeah, so people were like, if I can like be the champion in this, they're not gonna, the Schmodown's not gonna watch this, but they might hear that I'm the champion here. So I need to get there by any means necessary, and they won't know the difference. And it worked for some people.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think it's possible.
Yeah, it definitely did. People who don't brush their teeth and smell. Yeah, I can confirm that.
I think it's possible that a lot of people were. The second clip, don't know Dale.
Oh, was that the Full Metal one?
Yeah. Listen, there are worse things. Like, does cheating at online trivia automatically make you a bad person? No. There are worse things you can do in life where I'd be like, ooh, you're not good. You're bad. It's not the most honorable. It's pretty pathetic, in my opinion.
I would agree.
All that is to say, I don't know Dale. Perhaps he's a fine person.
To what you're saying, that was his name, Dale.
Yeah.
A person who shows up and plays 1 or 2 matches because they were a fan of the Schmodown and they found Full Metal or Multiplex or whatever at the time.
Sure.
They show up, they play 1 or 2 matches, and they do a little. I don't automatically assume that those people, like you said, are terrible people. Where I think it kind of transcends is like, do you make this your whole identity?
Yeah, that's
like, to be clear, I do not think, or do I have I ever thought that like Andrew James Barr has been a cheater. Never, ever, would never expect that. So let me be clear. I'm just using him as an example. But for a long time, he was, and still, I mean, he's still a huge presence in the community. But he's kind of taken a step back from a lot of things. Like he's not playing Melee singles.
Enjoying retirement.
What's that?
He's enjoying his well-earned retirement.
Yes. So, but if it had come out that he was a cheater and the whole time he had been cheating, I would assume he was a bad person, because it was like we trusted you, we made you this like you made this your thing. It would be like if you and I, if it came out that you and I would like cheated the whole time,
or Brittany or Joe or
Brittany or Joe or
Tyler.
Meltzer, like Kastner, like any of these people that have like found huge success. Now that doesn't mean that necessarily big success. It could be someone that's just been around, and I can't think of any examples other than
I'll disagree a little, because you said you think that makes them a bad person. I think it's possible for a good person.
I'm not saying okay, bad person is maybe a stretch. I just mean that like it feels fake to me. How do I trust you in anything else? Because
it's a mark in the bad person column for sure.
It's like if you make something your whole identity and it's bullshit.
Sounds like you have some self-discovery to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dale, 100% cheated.
Oh, 100%.
And I can't stand the like theatrics and like the.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Now
the controversial one.
How many repeats do I have? Dude, I don't think it's controversial at all, and I will absolutely claim credit for this, but that vote was 3-0, and I was like, I wouldn't let Richie play here if I thought he cheated.
Yeah, I don't think he cheated.
So I said no. And then I went and looked at the poll again later, and like 13 other people had voted for it. I was like, looks like I opened the floodgate. No, man, I think I like Richie a lot, except that he beat my fiance.
Yeah.
She's still sore about it. She shouldn't have bet when I told her not to bet. Should have listened to the questions. Anyway, no, man, I think he was playing in a thing. No, that was weird. I think it's very possible he could have been on my team. What?
He was on my team. I was there.
Oh, in that match, he was on your team?
In the clipping. Is it Chet? I was there.
What was it? Like
it was something different.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So I think he genuinely, I think it's possible he was trying to cheat. Like, if you're going to try and cheat, yeah, you put your board down, you pick your phone up, and you look at the answer. That's how you cheat. So, like, is it possible? Yes. Is it? I think it's more likely that he was just like, well, I'm out for this question. As we do in this day and age, because we're all addicted to our phones, he just was like, all right, let's text somebody. And then Nazario was like, Richie, are you on your phone? He remembered where he was.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, shit. Yeah, my bad.
I think
is more likely.
And in scenarios like that, which I can't think of many, but in those types of scenarios, I would say that if he did that a second time, if he was brought back to something different the following week and he did the exact same thing again, then you cut ties. And you say, hey, man,
Then you say, man, like
I don't think you necessarily cheated, but we told you can't have your phone. So this show, you can't be on anymore.
Yeah,
and I would do the same
here's
thing for
other
Fandom.
thing.
Yeah.
Even if I'm dead wrong, he still didn't cheat because he got caught before he could get there.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But yeah, I agree. It's like, dude, it's the same thing where it's like, yeah, you might not be cheating. Your hands might just be in your lap, but we've told you 100 times your hands got to be on screen. You're not allowed to play here.
Now, let's be honest for
Okay.
just a second. Like, I think honesty is the best policy. Who in the community has their hands off screen the most?
Nazario
Montenegro.
100% that
100%.
guy. It's not, we're not even joking. That is so true.
No,
the amount of times I've had to be like, Nazario, freaking hands.
And I know for a fact he does not cheat, because if he did, he would be the champion of so many things. He has that belt that he like carries around and slaps people's in the face with, but it's hosted by some Christian Harloff wannabe. I don't know what it is, but he's not cheating, but that man never has his hands on screen. And even his partner, Mike, has to sit
Yells
there
at him all the time.
Dario, get your hands on screen.
When he manages him in singles, that's all he does.
What'd you say?
I said when Mike manages Nazario in singles, he gives him no advice. He doesn't help him. All he does is yell at Nazario to keep his hands on screen.
Oh, Nazario has a match coming up. Oh my God. We just shot a Blockbuster video match. I don't want to say who because the schedule's not out yet.
It'll be out next week.
Yes. But it is very good. While it was happening,
it's the first match that we're releasing. You can say it.
I could say who played and everything.
Yeah. Well, not the result, but so yeah.
Blockbuster video versus Malachi Cargo. It's very good.
Magical.
It turned out really well. I just edited it. It turned out very good. While it was happening, a little stressful, but lots of laughs to be had. I laughed a lot while editing, but there were multiple times during that match where Mike was like, fucking Nazario, get your hands on screen. And it's like, oh, it is. I think it is very funny that Nazario cannot even think.
It's not even on purpose. He's not even doing it as a joke.
It's not a joke. He's just being.
It's so funny.
It's great. But we all do that. I think it's just funny that he has made a career almost out of scrutinizing other people for everything, not just cheating.
That's his thing.
But literally,
he's made a career out of being a troll and a shit.
I'll get a mess. We shoot about a month and a half in advance. I'll get a message. Hey, TBNT Inc. Brand new match just dropped. Payson plays Bill. Enjoy the match. It's great. We shot it 2 months ago. I have no idea what's happening. But I get a message at 2 a.m. that says, huh, fucking Sword in the Stone question is wrong. And I go, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't reference what
are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about right now. And I know he doesn't just do it to us. I know he does it to Cody and Payson and Dylan and Mark and all of us. I know he does it to everybody, but I think it's hilarious. He literally scrutinizes everyone. And actually, when we have him back on the show, because we will eventually, because he's delightful, I want to talk to him about that.
There's a reason he was our first guest, but
and we didn't even talk to him about half the stuff we wanted to. That was a great episode, but yeah,
I know
we peaked early. That was a good one.
But to wrap this up, I think the worst offense is not. It would be the day that we started aiding people to cheat, and not to cause too much controversy. But I think that's what sank the Schmodown. Not Andraco cheating, but them clearly. I think when Bonnie Somerville played her match, I
was high on ketamine,
possibly,
allegedly,
and she was getting Facebook messages, and acting all erratic. I am pretty sure though that was someone from the Schmodown or someone backstage. Maybe she had someone there to help her, and someone was backstage sending her answers.
Yeah.
We've heard, I remember before I fell off of being a fan of them, I heard Matt Nost talking about how they used to have 2 sets of questions.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think they screwed a friend of ours who played in that league doing that.
I would agree.
And that's what to me is the worst offense, because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be for fun. And if you need to cheat to win, to have fun, I think you're in this for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for sure. That I can't imagine that I've never won a belt in singles, so I don't know.
That's not true.
That's not true. That's not
Metal Geek champion.
That's true. What I was gonna say was, if I had cheated to beat you in Fandom singles,
Sure,
it probably wouldn't have felt as good as actually beating you.
correct.
So I don't understand what these people are getting out of it, but to each his own. We've talked about this a lot. If you're a cheater out there, we still love you, but we think you're a terrible person and you should go to hell. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. I wanted to make Nick do that. We hope.
No, man, there's a lot of people we've banned for cheating who are not around anymore, who quite frankly wouldn't let play again. But I wish you well. I hope you're doing well in life. I hope that whatever place you were in that made you cheat at online trivia, you're not in that place anymore. And that's the most sincere, genuine thing I can say.
I agree. No, I agree. And we've seen it firsthand. Like, we know people who have cheated, who have admitted to it, apologized, and have come back, and they're better for it. And I think, I don't know what goes behind the scenes at Multiplex anymore, obviously, but I know that Cody got a lot of backlash for what he said about like still welcoming Cameron on like other shows other than like trivia, like other stuff, and that they kind of walked that back a little bit, and that has been walked back publicly. But that's the sentiment I agree with. The sentiment of letting people have a second chance.
The timing.
I agree with, but the timing, that's correct. The timing is the big thing. And I think people giving that backlash was should have been there. I agree with that. And I think the walk back was the right move. But from like our perspective, like, who knows if we're going to be doing this in 5 years, but if in 5 years, since it's out in the open, who cares? Holtzman comes to us and is like, hey, 5 years ago, I did this. This was really rough. I was wondering if I could come on round 4 and talk about it. Yeah,
sure.
But I'm not going to let you do that tomorrow. Like,
I might.
Well, you like drama.
Not so much drama, but like, and first of all, I hate drama.
That's fair.
I like to watch drama. I like to watch manufactured drama on television,
like Survivor and The Amazing Race.
But actually, in real life, it's just a waste of my time.
That's
fair. But no, I'd have him on the next because this is supposed to be like an interview show, getting to know the guests. Can you imagine if like someone talked to that video game guy who cheated that you were talking about that one time?
He won a lawsuit.
He won a lawsuit, so maybe he didn't cheat.
No, people still think he did. It was Australian government, so like
maybe we should
get him in.
No, well, yes, but also stop talking because we were incriminating ourselves, implementing ourselves. I don't know.
Yeah. I apologize, Mr. Mitchell.